What's going on YouTube? This is your boy KB, representing New York, down here in GA. Do a 10-month update. Actually, this would be a 11th month since I started this 55-gallon tank. It's in my upstairs, is my man cave, New York Giants. Gotta rep my G-men all day, every day. But we are upstairs. So decided to start a tank up here, 55 gallon. Ain't gonna go bigger than that due to the weight, but everything has been going good. It's a Saturday morning, it's beautiful. Now, if you ain't been following, when I first started, I just got into the hobby. Everything in this tank that you see started as a frag. I didn't buy no whole corals, just frags off of fellow reefers that got me into the hobby. So initially started off with a Fluval FX4 canister, but about 5 months ago got a good deal on this Fluval FX4 monster. It's rated for a 250-gallon tank, but it's on my 55-gallon. And let me tell you that this thing works awesome. Turns my tank over, what, 6-7 times in 1 hour. Puts out 700 gallon per hour flow. So as you can see from the water movement, I really don't need to run a power head. So I do have it's a Jabo, however you want to call it, PPA, just to give a little chaotic flow to it. So in the tank, 2 clowns. It started off as big as my fingernails. They are grown. They are paired up. That's the male right there. The female's on the side. The yellow tang, of course, I got when he was a baby, and this dude is just a monster. Got a couple more tank mates in here. We got a purple dotty back. You see over there. The blues, but she's purple. There's a lawnmower Blenny in here as well. I had an Aptasia breakout about 4 months ago, a little glass Aptasia breakout. So I got about 3 Peppermint Shrimp, and within several weeks they took care of everything. No Aptasia whatsoever. So I still have 3 Peppermint Shrimp hiding amongst the rockwork, the rockscape. They do come out here and there, mostly at night. And in addition to that, there's a coral banded shrimp under here somewhere. He is huge. He is part of the original crew. You probably see him there up under there. See the antennas. Here goes the purple dotty back. And I have a small 3-striped damsel. Clownfish like to mess with him. You can see this one's here, so he's probably somewhere tucked under there. They like to go after him just to chase him around the tank. But I got the cleanup crew. And my own tank is clear, pristine, black sand. Tank is flooded with copepods. I may get a mandarin goby down the road. See how that works out. But for right now, canister filter, hang on the back skimmer, skimming exactly how it's supposed to be. Upgraded my lights. It's got the Oceanrevives T47, Arctic T47B full spectrum, and made a little do-it-yourself hanging kit. Got some shelf hangers, put them into the studs. That's a shower curtain. Got them about 12 inches off the water line, so the par covers every nook and corner. You can see there the clowns up there chasing that damsel, but once he gets a little bigger, he is going to be the one to terrorize them. So let's talk to the corals. Everything is a softy tank. Mushrooms have grown. I've got the huge green star button polyps. The leather is grown as well with the leather toadstool. Got a little zoa garden here with some pallies and some more zoas. You have some sun-kissed zoas there, frag. That's recent. Got a 5-year frag. The torch is grown. The Duncan, it fell off of the peg, so I just super glue gelled it to the rock, and he opens up a little later. The Xena's growing. Some more zoas. That mushroom up there, a little candy cane frag someone gave me. Got my flower pot, and that thing just shrinks down to the size of a bowling ball, a baseball, we put like that. Just got that hammer frag from somebody. Then I got the devil's hand leather, some more star polyps. Somewhere under here is a serpent star too. He was small, but this dude is huge. He comes out at night and he roams the tank. But during the day, he'll come out if there's food. I glued the GSP to the back, and as you can see, it's spreading. You can see here as well, it's spreading. I should have glued them a little lower, but I wanted to isolate the GSP so it didn't take off the rock. But of course, GSP finds its way. It'll find its way back onto your rock work. Trust and believe. And the back there, got some snail eggs. They've been laying them all around here. So, still got my original cleanup crew. Some of them still are here. There's a emerald crab that is a monster. He's shed several times. He's missing a claw. Got, you see one right there actually. Should be about 3 emerald crabs in here. And tank is algae free, other than the lights putting algae on the glass, which you have to clean pretty regularly. I don't clean the back glass. The algae, I let that build up so that the snails will always have a source of food. So our 55-gallon tank here, because it's canister filter, everybody's talking about nitrates and such. Let me tell you, that is a flat out lie. I've had this thing canister filter from the jump, and I don't think my nitrates have gone above 10 parts per million at any given time, and that's usually about time for water change. I do a 5.5 gallon water change every week. I stopped going to the fish store and having to fill up and everything, so came across a good RODI kit. Somebody was selling 75 gallons per day RDI kit. Excuse my little mess in the laundry room, but got it set up in here. I'm coming off of the cold water side of the washing machine. Goes through the 4 stages. Put a little T-fitting here so I can use this side for drinking water if we need to fill up some water bottles. Runs 0 TDS, and then of course it's closed off, but then it goes into the DI side. The resin is starting to go away on that, so I got actually some replacement filters as well. So because I bought it from somebody else, I changed the membrane out. I did put a new sediment filter there, but I have a spare one there. But I got 2 new carbon ones, and I got some more resin. And then it comes off of the line here. I can open and close it if I feel like it. And right now I'm using this cooler to fill up. And as you can see, it's been running for about 3-4 hours, so it's almost full. And I'll fill it up. This is 15 gallons here. When it fill up to the top, you can see I got a return pump in there, and then I'll just pump them into my salt water buckets. Got my salt, got my weight, my scale, so I know exactly how much it is. Mix it up. There is a little heater, power head. I'm gonna streamline this salt mixing station, but for right now, it's still new in the game. I make 15 gallons of salt water, change out that tank, But either all, good water pressure. My RDI kit works just fine. Uh, and this is like $300-400 6-stage BS bulk reef supply RODI kit, and I paid $50 for it. So I can't complain not one bit. And because both of my tanks are upstairs, it's only feasible that I would put my RODI kit here. So beautiful day outside. Come in the man cave, hang out. Try to rep my giants. Of course, this is Augusta, Georgia, so we got the Masters every year, and I'm gonna be building some shadow boxes here with some authentic master badges I get from my clients. I put them together, and they look really nice. Can make a good, pretty penny off of them. People want to buy these all the time. Every year I do them. Usually go anywhere from $300 to $500 for a shadow box. But that's not what we're here for. But back to my canister. Canister filter, only thing I got in there is the basic foam pads. It's got the microfiber pad, excuse me. Runs ceramic media and activated carbon. And then I got 2 stages of polishing pads, with the last one being the little poly filter. We got this blue pad here, and then the last one here. So I know usually when it's time to do a water change, so when the flow gets a little low, push out, but you can see the water movement, and that is strictly from the dual output from the canister filter. Trust me and believe that if you do go canister, it's sunkless. The tank, this is prime example. 11 months running, everything is just growing, thriving. This is a softer tank. Nitrate stayed about 5 or 10, so I decided I was gonna go ahead and do a little do-it-yourself macroalgae reactor. Got an old phosphate reactor from a friend of mine, and went on Amazon, bought the LED glow light strip, wrapped it around. The suction pump is right there mounted in. Comes out the top, down through the bottom, through the chado, and I just trimmed it so it was almost filled to the top. So about every 2 weeks I change it out. I got a fan under there because the lights sit directly on there, keep it cool. But I found a new trick where I'm gonna get a 10-inch bucket and wrap the lights, stick them to the bucket, and just sit the reactor in there so that the lights don't touch it. That's something I'm gonna probably do next weekend. But this is my 55-gallon tank, and if you've been following the other videos you've seen, you can be able to see how much it grows. The light difference. These Oceanrevive T47s, you can't beat the price. They're $159 a piece on Amazon, and they are powerful. Let me tell you, I only run 60% blues and 15% whites. I can't even see anyone going over 15% on whites. That's just how the par and how powerful these lights are. You can go with reef breeders and Mars box. There's many different sets of lights that are playable. The photons, $500-600 for some lights. No, there's no need for it. These Oceanrevive lights hit the mark. They have a built-in timer. They come on at 6. The blues come on at 6. They stay on till 22:30. The whites come on at 12, and then they cut off at 5. So I run the full spectrum for 5 hours just so that all of the corals can get the exact light that they need. And as you can see, everything is just flowing. It's flowing smooth, it's happy, nothing has died in 11 months. Everything is growing. I do come across some other frags, and I add them to it. No algae, no hair algae breaks. Coralline algae starting to build up. That little Kenya frag I got was like one piece, and everybody knows Kenya trees grow and start dropping everywhere. So I want the toadstool to grow a little bit more. You can see him going after the damsel. He's quick. He's not stressed out. That's just nature. He's got no nips. They go after him, push him away, establish a little dominance. Purple dotty back, I thought that was going to be an aggressive one, but she hangs out with the crew. Tang, they may go at it a little bit, but she has a little hole right over here in the corner. I wish you could see the peppermint shrimps over here, but they find their little spots where they hang out. That flower pot is just grown so much. The mushroom, surprisingly, if a piece of food or meat falls on there, maybe a piece of shrimp or something, it actually folds up and eats the shrimp. Amazed me a couple months ago when I saw that. And so with the red mushrooms, the button star polyps, they also, if a piece of shrimp or mice or shrimp falls in it, they'll eat it. Each one of those little buttons has a mouth in it. Back here, you can see him. That is a red flame scallop. I got him about 6-7 months ago, and his mouth is wide open, just filtering everything. And like I said, this tank is just swarming. I mean, I have such a strong copepod population that it looks like almost like dust along here. You can see, here goes the lawnmower Blenny. He's built himself a little cave. Come on, dude, stop being a camera hog. But he built a cave under that little pally rock right here, on Lazoa rock. He comes out and he keeps all the algae in check, but he also eats the flake food I may put in there, or it's my little station over here. But these Spectrum pellets, got your seaweed for my guy. We'll put a little snack out for him. And matter of fact, I'll do a little bit of it right now. Just break off a little piece. Bear with me here. It's a little longer video today, but I want to show you something spectacular. Because we in this hobby never start. You always start with one tank, and then everybody's like, yeah, you're going to have another tank. And I'm like, no, I think I'm going to just stick with this tank. And that never works out. You can see, there he goes. This yellow tank is just so healthy, it's fat. The clowns have gotten so big. I mean, they were tiny when I got them. I'm talking pinky nail tiny. So with the flow coming out, I'm gonna do a water change probably tomorrow. I do them on Sundays. Just keep the parameters. All my levels are just 0 across the board, and it's amazing. This Macroalge Reactor, I used the stock pump that came with it. It's a Fosban 150, but the pump sucks the water out, runs it through the channel, cleans it out, and then I bought a little spigot, a little return nozzle that I had run into it, and it puts it right back into the tank, clean, fresh, nitrate-free water. So I test my nitrates and phosphates every 2 weeks before I change out the channel. But it's undetectable. I know some people say you need to have some nitrates in your tank, and that's good. And there's some nitrates. They'll go from 0 to 5, but that is my refugium. I don't have much room under here to build a sump. Tank is not drilled. I'm not putting the overflow box. So if it ain't if it ain't broken, I'm not fixing it. So this is my main display. Upstairs foyer, 10-month update, and it is my little slice of the ocean, the black sand, and that macroalgae reactor. Do it yourself. Just figured it out off of YouTube. But I decided I wanted to start an anemone tank. So I had a coworker, but a friend had a Fluval M60 all-in-one tank that came with the stand. I think the whole setup was like $700, and I bought it from him for $150. But if we're gonna go ahead in here into the bedroom, in my bedroom, see my children's toys, my daughter's toys, watching TV, nap time. But here is my tank inside the bedroom. It is strictly an anemone tank. I love anemones. It's a little cloudy right now because I did some cleaning, but I have a Mocha Clownfish and a snowflake clown. And there is a monster 14-inch Bubble Tip Anemone. He is moving around right now, getting in his little spot. In the back, I got an intake media basket, floss on top. There is also a second chamber of the intake media basket around carbon, and then the last one here I have some media ceramic balls and a little piece of ChemiPure blue little nano packet. But the second chamber I changed into a refugium and updated the light using this JBJ magnetic. It's got the magnet on the inside, but you see that the Chato is just almost filled up. It was probably a small golf ball size. So it is taking care of the nitrates. I did not like the stock pump that came with this. It put out only 192 gallons per hour. So I got I think it's a Sika CCE 1.5. It puts out 357 gallons per hour. And got one of the little Jabo SW2, which is a nano, and it puts up to 1,000 gallons per hour, but I got on the low setting, pulsating setting. But in this tank, it's strictly an anemone tank. I've got this super huge guy who's just moved. I changed the rock work on him, and I don't think he liked that. But he opens up and he takes over that whole back row. It's 14 inches across. Then I have a medium rose bubble tip anemone. I got another smaller rose bubble tip anemone, rose bubble tip anemone, and a purple bubble tip anemone. And then also I have two rock flowers, rock flower anemone, and there's one right there that is shriveled up. He just finished eating. Now because these lights, this is the Fluval Sea and Marine, so waterproof light, full spectrum. And it had this push button on and off, and you can light it and dim it. But if you spent a little extra cash, you get this Fluval little Wi-Fi controller, and it's about 80-something bucks. But with that, you download the Fluval app, and it basically changes the whole light, turns it into a sunrise to sunset. You can change the intensity, and basically it ramps up. Starts at 6 in the morning and then ramps down to moonlights around 10:30, and then closes up. And this tank here, I used initially to cycle it. I used water from the water change from my main tank. Half of it was sand from the main tank. So it cycled in about 5 days. Took a piece of live rock from the main tank, and everything is good. Parameters are great. The Mocha Clown does host the anemone. Snowflake Clown hasn't caught on yet, but this is in my bedroom. I could have put the skimmer in the middle chamber, but I didn't want to starve the refugium, so I just put the Aqualife mini skimmer right near the intake there, and it seems to work fine. It takes a little bit away from the display, but not much. You can see Mr. Mocha Clownfish here hanging out inside the larger anemone. He was in the smaller one earlier, but the rock flower anemones are doing good. Everything in this tank is thriving. This little mushroom frag came off of that mother colony from the other tank. So these are my two tanks. I don't know why he decided he wanted to go down in here. So I'm gonna change around, but you could just see how big this guy is. He is just ridiculously huge. Let's see if you can get a little bit more comfortable where he is. But I'll change on the rock work a little bit here. This guy is big. I actually came across somebody that was breaking down this tank, and he decided he wanted to get rid of his bubble tip anemone, and I jumped on it. I mean, this is about a $300–400 size bubble tip anemone, and I got it from him for almost next to nothing. Great addition to the tank, and it's relaxing. It's quiet. The Aqualife skimmer, reading the reviews, everybody's doing all these different mods and changing the air valve and putting longer lines on it. You could barely hear it. And even if you put your hand across the top, you could barely hear it. So keep it above the water level. Output there. And put a little refuge in there. It may go a little bananas, but it's rated up to a 40-gallon tank. This is a 30-gallon, 25 here and 5 gallons worth of water here. Now, what's cool about this tank is that it has a little drain valve here for water changes. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there. I don't worry about that because all it does is drop in the water from the sump area. And of course, this tank is just littered with copepods. It is just seated very well. They are everywhere, almost to the point where it's making it cloudy. All of that stuff flying around, it's not debris. It is copepods. They all over the pump. Glass, when you turn the lights on in the morning, they are everywhere. So that is the 11-month update, YouTube. Both of my tanks, and I am sticking with just 2 tanks. But this is a little project that I wanted to make. It's going to fill it with small bubble tip anemones. You see he's here hosting his little buddy over here. And I got this Mocha Clownfish yesterday. Snowflake's been in here in a while, and he didn't host anything, but the Mocha Clown came in and immediately started hosting the big men, and he switches between these two. So hopefully he'll teach the Snowflake how to host an enemy as well. These lights are strong. You see I got a little bit of hair algae on certain spots, little small spots, and then on the snail it's got a little hair algae, but I bought a couple of emerald crabs in here, so they'll take care of that little bit of algae before it gets out of hand. But I love this anemone right here, this bubble tip. He's huge, 15, 16 inches across. He covers that whole rock when he's fully open. So I fed him yesterday. He may be doing a little moving around, trying to find the perfect spot. So I'm keeping the flow slow. And there's a skunk cleaner shrimp in there. And a couple of members of the cleanup crew, 2, 3 hermits, and about 3 or 4 snails. So this is my bedroom tank. And he's getting back into his best friend, the big anemone. So, hope you enjoy this hobby, like I do. Got any questions? Any questions whatsoever, drop them down, subscribe, tell your friends about it. My tanks are doing very well, and it's not as hard as you would think. People say that, you know, oh man, it's so expensive to run a saltwater tank. It can get pricey, yeah, if you go for right things, but there's so many people in this hobby that start off with small tanks and go to bigger tanks, and they are selling equipment. You catch the right deals. These Oceanrevives, I bought that one from a co-worker for 50 bucks. And that's a $169 light, so I just bought a second one. The hangers, these shelf hangers are like $4 for a 3-pack at Lowe's. And then your lights come with a hanging kit, and this is nothing more than a shower curtain rod. Shower curtain rod. So, ingenuity, a little work center, food, test kits, excess tools that I may need. But yeah, that's the whole gist. So, we're coming up on a year. Of having this tank, and everything in here started with frags. I didn't go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a single piece of coral. I don't think I probably spent more than $25, if that much, on any particular piece of coral. RODI kit, make my own water now, and just enjoy the hobby. I don't think I'm gonna add any more fish. There will be some more coral frags going here. I'm getting another torch, probably frog spawn, and a couple other things just to add on. I got plenty more room here, but take your time in this hobby. Patience, don't rush it. Let your tank mature. When you start seeing things that knowing your tank is mature, your fish laying eggs, copepods, you got certain kinds of stomalies, snails. I got a couple of hitchhikers in this piece of live rock. There's a couple of bristleworms. They're very small. They don't come out, they don't bother anybody ever at night, and you need a good cleanup crew. Get in between those crevices. That devil's hand leather is starting to open up. Emerald crab there, and there's another one I just saw him. But nothing has died in my tank. Hopefully, 2 clowns have been prepping that piece of rock under there, the flat surface. So they might be laying some egg soons. Who knows? So if you got any questions for me, let me know what you think. I appreciate and welcome all suggestions. I am in no way considered an expert. I do a lot of reading, a lot of research, which you should do before buying or adding anything in your tank. I think it irritates me on some of these pages, and I see people with coral or fish in their tank, and they say, "Help me ID." You should know what's in your tank, because it could easily be something that dies and crash your whole tank, and you have to start all over again. So I'm gonna change out this skimmer here. We're gonna do a water change, and keep going. Oh, on the canister filter, if you are running a canister filter, your nitrates are not in your canister filter. That's not the issue. Whether you got a Fluval FX4 or EHIM or Full 6, 3 or 4. The problem with a lot of people don't think is once they disconnect these hoses to change out, they don't clean the hoses. You got buildup, detritus in these lines, and they hold to it. So when you change out your filter, you get you a gallon size of vinegar. You pour it in a bottle, hot water, and you just flush out your lines. Flush them out. That's where your nitrates are going to be at. Is old food, algae, and whatever else gunk is inside your hoses. That's pushing it back out. But this macroalgae reactor that I built is doing its job. And as you can see, the tank is clear, and everything started from just simple, small frag. Alright, so this is KB. I took up enough of your time. Give me a holler. Got any questions on either tank, anemone tank, or my mixed reef tank. I'm gonna rep those giants this year. This is our year. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.